I went to the gym for 9 months. I have the physique of someone that goes like 2 months, that goes to the gym for like 2 months and still looks skinny. I ate 3,750 calories for like 2 to 3 months straight. Gained like 3k, which I'm hella not happy about. So this guy wants to gain muscles faster, okay? There are a lot of factors that goes into this, okay? Okay, so here's a quick equation. Muscle growth is volume times intensity times frequency. Volume is basically how many sets you do. For example, let's say 35. Not sets, sorry, reps. Volume is how many reps you do. Let's say 35. Intensity is how close you get to failure. How off are you to failure? For example, like you're 3 reps off of failure. That's pretty good. 3 reps. Yeah. Okay, I don't care, that's fine. 3 reps out of failure. Since you're looking for muscle growth, the first thing you need to make sure of is you need to be getting close to failure. Really close. How close? Within the range of 1 to 3 reps off of failure. Don't get too close to failure because that's gonna kill your gains. You don't need to get to absolute failure because that's gonna kill your gains, okay? So you need to get in between the range of 1 to 3 reps off of failure. There is no difference between getting to 1 rep off of failure and 3 reps off of failure when it becomes to muscle growth. That's the first thing. The second thing you need to make sure of is that you're having enough volume and enough frequency. Frequency is how often do you train? How often do you train? Let's say you train 3 times a week. That's fine. That's pretty fine. But the volume needs to be more if you train 3 times a week. If you train 6 times a week, the volume should be less so you don't get burnt out and you can actually stay consistent with it. So you need to have enough frequency. It's basically consistency. You need to be consistent with your workouts and you have to do them often. And the volume should be enough as well. Let's say for pull-ups, you can do 3 pull-ups and that's it. That's your max, okay? You can't expect a lot of muscle growth when you're training for 3 reps. Even though it takes you to your limit, it's not enough volume. So you need more volume, okay? You can train that 3 reps for, let's say, for 5 sets. That's okay volume, okay? That's pretty fine volume. But if you train 3 reps to failure for 2 sets, that's still gonna do a lot of muscle growth, but it's not as much as when you do it for 5 sets. So volume is pretty important. And also, since you're targeting muscle growth, your failure or your rep limits, how many reps you can do in a row, shouldn't be 3. It's way better if you have it within the following range: 12 to 20. 12 to 20 reps. Okay? 12 to 20 reps. If you're training for strength and muscle growth, that's the perfect range you should go for. And also, even if it's like 8, your max is 8, that's also really good. You should train for that, and you should train that 8 reps until you get it up to 12 and so on. Okay, so we tackled intensity. You need to get to 3 reps off of failure. Frequency, you need to stay consistent with the gym. And if you're training for 3 times a week, the volume needs to be high. If you're training for 6 times, the volume can be lower. It's probably better if you train for 6 times a week and the volume is lower, because that stimulates more muscle growth. One more very important thing is you need to fully stretch your muscles when you're doing your sets. For example, if I'm doing pull-ups, give it a deep stretch. Stretch fully stretch your muscles, okay? Try to focus on stretching maximally, because the part where you stretch most is arguably the most hypertrophic part. This is very important. Stretch maximally and get it within 1 to 3 reps of a failure. There is no problem with getting to 1 rep of a failure. That's actually even better if you can sustain it, if you can stay consistent with it, because it builds up your discipline. So within 1 to 3 reps is absolutely the same thing for muscle growth. I hope this made it clear for you. Also, one more very, very important thing is, let's say you've been training pull-ups and you can do 8 reps maximally, okay? That's your limit. You can do 8 reps, okay? The next week you have to increase it to like 10. You have to go for 10. This week you have to go for 10 reps, okay? You shouldn't try to go for 8. That's called progressive overload. You surely know it. This is extremely important. Every week you should increase your sets for 2 reps. And if you're doing this correctly, if you're actually taking yourself to shy failure or to failure, it should increase on its own. But if it doesn't, which most of the time it doesn't, you should manually increase it from 8 reps, for example, to 10 reps to failure every single week. You don't need to do it every single day. That's very bad. That's not how you do it, because that's impossible to do. What's possible and also difficult enough is doing it every single week. Progressive overload is very important. Don't try to increase the weight too much to the point that you can only do 3 reps with it, and that's it, your failure. Keep in mind that will build a lot of muscle growth, but it's much better, according to studies, to go from 8 to 12 to 20 reps. If it's 8, try to upgrade it to 12, and if it's 20, try to make it harder so that it's more within this range of 12 to 20. But if it's less than 20 or it's 20, that's still pretty good for muscle growth. When it becomes to dieting, eat a lot of eggs. That's the best source of protein. Ignore the study that says like 2 eggs a day. That's not true. You can have more eggs in the day. That's not unhealthy at all. And you should also eat more fruits and vegetables. Basically food that have been on this earth for over 4,000 years. And how many calories you should eat, just eat until you're full. Don't torture yourself or anything. Focus on building muscles, focus on their exercise. Don't focus too much on the diet. Just eat until you're full, eat healthy food, and that's it. That's all you need to do. That's all what I did, at least. That's it. Sleep is very important as well. You need to be sleeping at least 8 hours a day, because that's the time your body recovers the most. And when your body recovers, it also recovers your muscles. So that's when most muscle recovery happens. So sleep is very important, for not just for muscle growth, for a lot of things, for basically everything. It's the one thing that improves everything in your life. So sleep is also very important. I hope this video has been beneficial. I recommend you guys go watch RP Strength, or Renaissance Periodization. I hope that I pronounced that correctly. This guy has a PhD in sports science, or in sports science, I think. He says a lot of true facts. He's pretty jacked, as you can see, and he's also a scientist. You guys should go watch some of his videos, especially the rating reps videos, rating your sets videos. I don't know where they are, but you guys should go watch them. They're pretty useful, and nearly everything I've got from this is from him. So he's a pretty good YouTuber as well. And I hope this has been beneficial to you. See you guys in the next one.